A loser isn't a life sentence. It's the label you earn every day that you don't change. Hey guys, my name is Mike. I'm a former New York City bouncer who went from sleeping in the streets and eventually working multiple jobs so I wouldn't have to going back to school in my late 20s, earning several degrees, and getting a job at a top consulting firm. Now I live my dream lifestyle. I have a beautiful home. I have my dream car, a great wife, and I also have my own consulting business. So I want to talk about where to start as a loser. I used to be one. I'm still always fighting against it because those loser tendencies keep popping up. And I want to talk about 3 simple steps that you can do to change from being a loser. So let's define what a loser is. A loser is somebody who consistently chooses comfort over growth. So you're always just choosing the easy route instead of doing more difficult, disciplined work. And that, can refer to your job, that can refer to your relationships. Maybe you're somebody who just wants to sleep around. You don't actually want to do the work of having to build a relationship with somebody. You just choose not to fight for the relationship. You just break up with somebody because you don't want to do it. And then but you're also secretly worried that deep down inside, you're not going to get in a long-term relationship with somebody meaningful. It's one thing to have fun and to play around, but it's another thing to say, I'm going to actually have a serious relationship with somebody who I love. I'm going to go out there and find somebody and build a meaningful, wonderful life with them. Like I have. I've done it. I'm not saying everybody will, but everybody has their own journey, especially in relationships with other people. The other thing is prioritizing short-term pleasure over long-term success. And that, of course, refers to partying, oversleeping, skipping your workouts, missing out on business opportunities. If you're completely out of shape and you know that you don't like the way you look, that it's bothering you, and I'm not saying, in a reaction to this video, you're gonna say, oh, I think I look great. I love having skinny little arms and being a fat fuck. But if you really sit down by yourself, later on, as you're going to sleep or you're driving in your car, are you really proud of what you see in the mirror? Or are you choosing that short-term pleasure, that food, that ice cream, the pizza, and the complete lack of discipline to working out and dieting? Are you really happy with yourself? Are you really happy setting up yourself, your body, for an early heart attack, which once it happens, it can cripple you for the rest of your life? You could be a multi-millionaire in your 60s, but if you had a heart attack in your 50s, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. You're not going to be able to travel, go hiking, do all these great fun things, go jet skiing and scuba diving. You're going to be very limited on what you can do depending on how severe of a heart attack or an aneurysm or whatever you can give yourself from having poor health. The third thing that would define a loser would be refusing self-accountability. So, blaming others, blaming the world around you, blaming politics, blaming, the president, or blaming the Congress, blaming the bills, blaming the laws, blaming other people, blaming the police. Fuck the police. You're blaming everybody around you and you're not actually taking accountability for your own fucking actions. I mean, if you ever watch any of those body cam videos on YouTube, right, there's tons of them of, where the police officer is clearly in the right, somebody gets pulled over for some minor infraction, they start arguing with the police officer. I mean, you can tell how much of a fool they look like because they, instead of blaming themselves for having a tail light that's out or whatever the hell it is, blaming themselves for poor driving or for speeding or, in cases where they're outrunning the police and, they blame the cops. I was scared of you, so I ran from you at 100 miles an hour. Like, that is a fucking loser. So and it comes to a real life example, like between us, I can't get a better paying job. The economy's not good enough. Nobody will hire me. They don't respect me for my skill and all that. No, blame yourself. If you think you can't get a job as a secretary at a law firm, well, let me ask you something. Would you be able to get that job as a secretary at that law firm if you had studied, if you had a degree from Harvard? And I know it might sound a little ridiculous, right? I'm not saying you have to go to Harvard to become a secretary, but if you had a higher level of education, you don't have to go to Harvard, you don't have to go to Cornell, you don't have to go to an Ivy League, right? But if you want to make more money and you're saying, oh man, nobody's gonna hire me because the economy sucks. Well, maybe you need to get upskilled. Maybe you have to go back to school. Maybe you have to go earn a trade, whatever it is. You have to get certified in something. I had a family member of mine who couldn't get a good paying job. And they finally went and they were like, I hate school. I don't want to learn anything. I don't give a shit. But you know what? They finally went and they joined a union shop where they became a plumber, like a union plumber. And now they're making like $50 an hour. And guess what? When they were going to become a plumber in the union, they had to go to school. They had to go to plumbing school. They had to learn things to become an actual plumber. They had to take tests. And they still do. It's like continuing education. They still have to take tests every year, every 2 years. So it doesn't end. No matter what you want to do, it doesn't end. Learning. The fourth thing is being stuck in self-destructive habits. This was something that I struggled with for a long time. Too much drinking, too many drugs. People that are addicted to porn or womanizing or sex addictions or anything like that. If you're struggling with that kind of stuff, you know that you have to stop. It makes you a fucking loser when you're sitting there sucking on the bottle, crying yourself to sleep every night, saying, God, why can't I stop? Fourth thing is just all of this culminates into this concept of rejecting a personal evolution, an evolution of yourself. You're just like, I don't give a fuck. This is my lot in life. This is all I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And you can see that in people who are middle-aged or older, right? I'm talking about 30, 40, 50-year-old adults who are working in fucking fast food restaurants or some menial trash fucking job. And I'm not saying a garbage man, okay, or city garbage man. City garbage people, they're unionized, they make good money, whatever, you can make a career. But I'm talking about somebody who's doing the job of a fucking teenager. They're fucking losers. I mean, adults working at Starbucks as a barista? What the fuck are you talking about? It's a $7 to $10 an hour job making coffee, following a fucking instruction sheet in front of them. You pour this much of this milk, you press that button to dispense that much caramel, and it's the bullshit job for children to be doing when they're 16, 17 years old, trying to learn how to communicate with other people in a more professional manner than just their friends. That's what that job is supposed to do. It teaches them some basic life skills. Yet you have full-on adults with fucking green hair and fucking purple eyelashes and stupid shit just fucking around, dressing. They got an animal tail taped to their ass, trying to act cutesy and completely fucking immature. What the fuck are they doing? I get it. It's one thing to live out your fantasies and to still be an adult collecting and playing with Legos or whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. That's one thing. But are you really happy? Are you fulfilling your life? Is this your life's destiny? Is to be a fucking 45-year-old barista with green hair? Or to be a fucking 50-year-old McDonald's worker sweating about, oh my God, how am I going to retire in 10, 15 years? Am I ever going to be able to afford to retire? What the fuck am I going to live on? Since I've been working in fast food my whole life. These are fucking losers. So let's just talk about 3 ways that you can change. 3 ways that a loser can change. Okay, 3 ways that I've had to take on to change myself. I mean, even making tons of money, I still had fucking loser bullshit habits and I was not happy. Recognizing that you're not happy with yourself and you're fucking lying to yourself, that's what makes you That am I a loser? Yes. If I'm unhappy with myself, I'm a fucking loser, and I'm losing to myself. I can put on a facade and show off to everybody. Look at my fancy cars. Look at my beautiful home. My great views. But if I'm fucking struggling with an addiction or something, or unhappy with my relationships, I gotta stop being a fucking loser. So, like I said, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what kind of addictions, not addictions, but like, how childish of a thing it is that you have. If you love fucking going to Disney World as an adult or whatever, I don't care. It's, are you truly happy with yourself? So, first, master your self-discipline. Master self-discipline through daily, non-negotiable habits, through a routine, a system. I'm really bad at forming habits. I couldn't get it through my thick skull to form a habit of working out every fucking morning. I'm like, I just couldn't do it. But when I reframed it and view it separately as a system, I've systematized my ability to get bigger, to grow more muscle. I said, this is what I want. I want to have a better body. I want to be proud of how I look like, in public, instead of having this fat gut and skinny arms and looking like the fucking fat, disgusting loser alcoholic that I was for a long time. I said, what do I need to do? I need to build a system around positive, self-discipline developing habits. So I do a 3:40 a.m. wake up. I'm in the gym at 4 a.m. I work out from 4 to 5, so an hour of lifting, and then I do an hour of running afterwards. About 10 miles is what I run every day. I do that, and I'm proud of who I am. I'm working my way out of becoming that fucking loser, work myself completely away from that. I had to stop drinking because I need to be up that early. I can't fucking drink alcohol and party and then I want to run 10 miles a day and I'm smoking cigarettes or vaping or whatever. I couldn't do that anymore. So I had to stop. So first thing is mastering your self-discipline with non-negotiable habits, things that are positive, are going to help you work towards whatever your goals are. So if you're trying to start a business, like I did for a long time, I've been wanting to start a business. I've been working really hard trying to figure out what that business is. I've had to spend every day watching YouTube videos, reading books, and that's part of my routine. Every morning I do my workout. While I'm working out, I'm listening to videos, listening to podcasts about business ideas and how to run a successful business, and thinking, and unfortunately over planning and not acting enough. It took me a while before I could act, but at least I was working towards the goal of starting my own business. I had to think through, how am I going to do it? And I was able to make it happen because I had developed a system around doing the research and constantly pushing myself forward every day, closer and closer to the goal of having the business that I want. The second truth to stopping or to start changing yourself from being a loser, the second thing you can do is to live for long-term goals and not short-term pleasure. So you might say, yeah, I want to get in shape, but it's gonna take forever. So whatever. I don't know. I guess I'll get started at some point. Well, you have to realize that getting yourself in shape, especially if you're really out of shape, it's going to take a long time. And the sooner you accept that and come to reality with it, the sooner you can get started. So in my case, I hadn't been to the gym for consistently for over 10 or 12 years. No, not 10 or 12. It was about 10 years. No, it is, 10, 12 years. Point is that I hadn't been to the gym that long. For me to work out, to get the muscle and to get bigger and stronger and to be able to run 10 miles a day, there's just pure basic physics and biology and all that. And the fact that my joints and my musculoskeletal structure could not handle the amount of weight, the amount of running, the amount of repetitive motions that I have to go through on a daily basis today to build the muscle that I have and to maintain and continue growing from there. It took me like 6 months, about 6 months or so, to 6 to 8 months of me working out just 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes. But I had to work out for 10 minutes. And I had to do repetitive motions with light weights. And it's embarrassing. You go into the gym as a man. Supposedly as a man, you pick up a fucking 10-pound dumbbell and you're doing this for 5 minutes, and then that's it, I'm done. Because I had to slowly build up the cartilage and the ligaments in my elbows to be able to handle these kinds of motions. If I just gone in there and tried to do too much weight, I could hurt myself very quickly, and then I'm out of the gym for 2-3 weeks. Healing. So when you accept the fact that in order to get yourself in shape, in order to become very wealthy and to build a multi-million-dollar business, it's going to take time. Now, there's people out there who build million-dollar businesses within 6 months or a year or even sooner. They get viral. And as you can see, people who go viral with a business, people who go viral with a video, those things they don't happen all the time, right? Some people are very lucky, I suppose you could say, but not necessarily that, right? The Haktua girl, she got lucky she went viral. That was like pure luck, just, complete happenstance. She got viral. She was able to, I don't know how wealthy she got off of, sorry about that, I had an alarm go off. But it takes time. So if you accept that it takes time and you work on it over time, you actually might be able to get successful very quickly. And then the last thing to stop being a loser is to take extreme ownership of your life. Take extreme ownership of your life and just accept that you are responsible for where you are, and you can change everything that you don't want to experience anymore. You can change everything. Take extreme ownership. Start working out. Start journaling. Start sitting down and figuring out your business plans. Work on it. Quit blaming other people. Quit blaming circumstances. Quit blaming the president or politics or whatever the fuck your problem is. Stop blaming your past. I was molested, I went to jail, I used to be addicted, I was poor, this and that. Stop blaming everything outside and take ownership of you right now, today, presently. What the fuck are you doing to not be a fucking loser anymore? What are you doing? Take ownership. Remember, where you start, it doesn't matter. I know I just gave you a whole bunch of things. Figure out something and start somewhere. Where you refuse to quit is what matters. That's where you are going to fail. Where you refuse to quit. So stop living like a loser today. And in a year, you won't recognize yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.